boys, here it is, week 5 recap. We had a good week this week, have a little pep in my voice as you can tell. You'll find out why later. We had some upsets, some sweat outs, and Tom P just keeps it rolling. Peyton Manning, greatest of all time. We had an epic shootout in Dallas, 51-48. It was the craziest game I've ever seen, possibly. Had an epic sweat out between Beezer and Goody. Also had a sweat out between the Oilers and the Smited one. So, good week of action. Let's get right into it, shall we, boys? Alright, first game on tap would possibly be the best game of the week. It would be RCCR taking on the DeGenerals. It came out to a late Sunday night sweat out. I mean, it was epic. I was probably the only one that was realizing what was happening because it was like 2:30 in the morning. Rivers would lead the DeGenerals back in the fourth quarter when it looked like he had no shot. But let's get into it and we'll talk about it more. We'll start it out Goody. David Wilson showing some signs of life with a touchdown. Couple backflips right here too. Unfortunately, he would leave the game hurt. Only got Goody 7 points, so it really wasn't the coming out party Goody was wanting. Randall Cobb, though. Is that a running back? No. It's Randall Cobb, the receiver. 67 yards. Huge play. And then he also added this sick, ridiculous one-handed grab. We remember shit like this from Kentucky. Look at that. One-handed grab. Goody would also plug in Sam Bradford. Turned out to be a good play for him as Bradford had 3 touchdowns. This one to Lance Kendricks, and then he threw a pair to Austin Pettis. Good play, good plug and play by Goody there. I have to give him props. Actually, it wasn't because Russell Wilson outscored him, but still, good thought. And then Julius Thomas gets the shovel pass there, scores 1. Julius Thomas wouldn't be done though, as he scored another touchdown right there. Julius Thomas with a huge game. Beezer would get a big game, pretty big game from Jamal Charles, got the touchdown. Jimmy Graham would have over 100 yards, wouldn't get in the end zone, but he did have 100 yards, including this 38-yard grab. And then it came down to Sunday night, late night. In the fourth quarter, Beezer was looking like it had no shot, but Rivers throws that touchdown, then he follows it up with this touchdown, and all of a sudden it was an epic sweat out. After this, Goody Janikowski would kick a 50-yard field goal to give Goody the lead with like 3 minutes left. Then Rivers would come down, take the lead back, and then he would throw a pick that would cost him the game, but then somehow they get the ball back. Rivers marches down again, gives Beezer the edge, but then he throws another pick. But then when you look, it didn't matter because Beezer still got the win. That wasn't until Goody pointed out Bills D had a pick 6 against them. 2-point adjustment. Goody takes the W in a crazy sweat out game. 97.1 to 96.2. Rivers' 2 fatal interceptions at the end cost Beezer the game. Love life. Crazy sweat out. Crazy. Alright, next we get it popping with Tom P, undefeated, 4-0, coming in red hot again against Patino's Aborted Babies. Looking for a big win here, looking for the upset. Tom P had AP on a bye, so he was maybe right for the picking. Let's see if Patino's Aborted Babies could get the upset. As I said, AP was on a bye, so what does Tom P do? Puts in Pierre Thomas, who produces for him 21 points. Had a short touchdown there. Also had this 25-yard touchdown. He would have 91 yards and a couple touchdowns, good for 21.1. Green Ellis would also score on this short touchdown. He would be in double digits. Tom P, is, as expected, got a huge game in the shootout from Peyton, who put up 47.6, including this hookup to Wes Welker. That's a connection. Also, this sick catch, Jordy Nelson, he only had 82 yards, not a huge game, but this was a sick catch. Keeps the feet in, tiptoes on down the line. And Patino's Aborted Babies. Torrey Smith would have another pretty good game. He had 121 yards, including this nice catch and run for 41 yards. Also, his new acquisition, Jason Witten, would score on this touchdown. He also added 121 yards for 18.1. But sadly, it would not be enough. Most of Peyton's highlights will be shown in other places. That's why these highlights were so short, but Peyton, another huge game, 47.6. Pierre Thomas puts up 21.1. So, Tom P goes off again, 133.2. Tino's aborted baby. Would get a decent game from McCoy. Kaepernick only completed 6 passes, but he did put up 12.8, which not great, but he's on the board anyway, nonetheless. Tom P, 133.2. Patino's aborted baby, 93.3. At this point, if you go against Peyton Manning and he gets 30 points, you count your lucky stars. That's how it's looking. Peyton Manning, greatest of all time. Jesus Christ. Tom P must be stopped, but he did watch the game, so I give him props on that. That's why I showed your highlights, you rat bastard. Who's our favorite football player?
Megatron.
And you love Megatron?
Yeah. What?
And who else?
For
Who else you love?
you.
Yes, Jackson, we do love Megatron. Unfortunately, Sick Maid would wake up, get some breakfast, a few hours later turn on the TV, almost had a heart attack when he saw that Megatron was out. That means he pretty much had no Megatron or Stafford. He was flipping out. He needed a win more than anything. Could it happen without Megatron and Stafford by his side? Let's see. Chaz didn't get it early. Didn't get it going in the early part, but Sunday night, Niners D with a big game with this pick 6. They also had this interception as well. Tipped to himself. Oh! And another pick. They had 4 turnovers, a touchdown, and gave up 3 points for 22 points. And Gore, same game. Nice run here. He would end up with 81 yards and also this touchdown here. Gore with a big game, 14.1 points, pretty big game. Jay would start it off on Thursday night though. Eric Gordon. Oh, nice catch. Bobbles it, but he still keeps it in. Gordon had 14.6. And wait a second. What is this? Is that a Spiller sighting I see? CJ Spiller? No, couldn't be. Yes, it was. Spiller, finally. Sick Maid gives a triumphant scream as he watches Spiller bust this to the house for 53-yard touchdown. Spiller, signs of life, sick cutback, and boom, he is gone. Sick Maid has been waiting forever for that. Kansas City D would also keep their hot streak going. Had another touchdown this week, courtesy of this. Kansas City punting it away. Ball's bouncing, hits off the Titans guy's foot, and they fall on it in the end zone. You'll take them how you get them. Ray Rice sighting as well. Touchdown there. 2 yards out. He also had another 3-yard touchdown untouched. Ray Rice, 2 touchdowns, 102 total yards, 21.1 points. Jay Monty would go with Jay Cutler instead of Stafford also, who had a big game, 27.9. As you see, Niners D and Wayne's kicker Matt Prater had pretty good games, but sadly for Chaz, that's about all he had. Tom Brady snaps a 50-game streak of a game without a touchdown, only puts up 6.8 points. Sick Maid finally gets the win, 108.9 to 84.6. Chaz still without a win. I'm sorry. I feel your pain. Next game's going to be a pretty crucial game for both as they both come in 2-2. Bobby Black's resurrection going against the Jobs. Bobby Black could have had a truly epic day, but he benched Romo, the freak of the week, with 55.9. He also had, who would have been the freak of the week had it not been for Romo's insane performance, Alshon Jeffrey, who put up 30.8. Would the bench bungle cost Bobby Black the game? Let's find out. Alshon Jeffrey would have a monster day for Bobby Black. He had this nice grab for 42 yards. Also had this 58-yard grab. Cutler bombing it out there for Alshon. He almost took it in, would have had an even crazier game. He did also cap it with a touchdown here. Alshon Jeffrey, 218 yards and a touchdown. Chris Johnson had a pretty bad game, but he did save it with this big, huge run. Takes it to the house. Chris Johnson, 80 yards and a touchdown, puts up 14 for Bobby Black. Charles Clay, good plug in by Mike B, tight end. He had 52 yards, and he also had this nice little over-the-shoulder grab touchdown. Mike B. Eric Decker would also get into the shootout fun. He had this 57-yard catch, spins out of it. He would end up with 87 yards and a TD of his own right here. Pretty nice catch by the Decker. Spikes the ball down with a vengeance. I see you doing work out there, Decker. The Jobs try to fire back. Reggie Bush on this little trick play. Takes it for 20 yards. Slips, he might have gotten more. Deshaun Jackson also had a big game for the Jobs. Reggie Bush didn't do much, but they had that highlight, so I showed it. Deshaun Jackson with a big 56-yard catch there, and then a 5-yard touchdown from Nick Foles as Mike Vick got hurt, so it was not a connection. Nice little move right here. Shakes him out of his boots. Deshaun. Mike D survives the bench bungle. Couldn't have had an epic day if he had played Romo with his 55 points, but Alshon Jeffrey blows up from 30.8. The Jobs didn't get much going. Had Deshaun Jackson with a big game. The kicker had a big game. Not much production anywhere else. Bobby Black takes the win, 115.2 to 86.4. And that leaves us with the sole Monday night sweat out of the week. The smited one, going against the Oilers. Pretty big game for both. Oilers trying to keep pace with Beazer and Tom P a little bit, coming in 3-1. Smited one, 2-2, trying to get that winning record. It would come down to Monday night. Tony Gonzalez would need 14.6. Basically came down to Tony needed a touchdown on Monday night. Could the smited one come from behind on Monday night with his boy, the man on the protein diet, Vinny Dell's idol? Chaos, Gonzalez, and Vinny Dell form the triple threat. Could he do it? Let's see. The Oilers would not get a huge day from Aaron Rodgers, but he did salvage his fantasy day with this 83-yard bomb to James Jones. Rodgers would end up with only 18.6. That saved his fantasy day. Do the Tina Turner James Jones on him. And then Justin Blackmon, coming off his 4-game suspension, the Oilers says welcome back, puts him in the lineup, and he produces 136 yards and a touchdown, including that 60-something yarder. Seattle D would have a pretty nice game for the Oilers. This actually was a safety, not a touchdown, or they would have even had a better game. In the shootout, everyone gets a little love in that shootout game. DeMarco Murray taking it in for the touchdown. And then Desi catches this bomb. Look at this. Whoop! Oh my. And he almost took it to the house. Ran out of gas at the end a little bit there. Would have been a truly monster game if he could have took that one in. But he did have a touchdown here. Watch this catch. Tiptoes is in. Did he get his feet in? Oh my. Throw up that DX. Don't forget it. Bam. You know it. Look at this. Keeps his feet in. His heels were in too. It looked like they may have been out, but another angle shows that they were in. Desi Bryant. And then later on in the shootout, you know Desi was going to get involved. Another touchdown for Desi. Desi goes off. Vinny Dell striking back. Thursday starts it out. Fred Jackson gets 2 gimme little 1-yard touchdowns. He also had 93 yards, having a big game for Fred Jackson, my most hated player in the NFL. Also on Thursday, Smitewood would plug in Browns D. Travis Benjamin, this is a sick run back here. No, you can't tackle him like that, you stupid kicker. Neither can you. Gets around it, takes it to the house, and then to seal the game, Browns D picks this off. Go ahead and take it in for the TD. 2 touchdowns for Browns D. They had a big game, 18 points. And Brandon Marshall would have a quiet game, but he did catch this touchdown. And Noshawn Marino had a big game also, 150 yards and this short little touchdown. Vinny Dell would go into Monday night needing 14.6 from Tony Gons. Gons would have a good game, 97 yards, but it was not enough. And the Smited one drops it, 122 to 117.2. I would feel bad if it were anyone except Vinny. And maybe Beezer too. The Oilers stays course, 4-1. Dez Bryant and Blackman hooking up. His love for receivers just paying off. His kicker also balled out. Smited one got a good game from Breeze, Fred Jackson, Marino, but it wasn't enough. The Oilers take it down 122 to 117.2. Well, boys, that will wrap up week 5 of action. We had a good week. Some nice sweat outs. I got my first win, so that feels good. Chad's still the only man without a win now. And Tom P stays undefeated at 5-0. Takes a hold of first place by his lonesome. And now Sickmade sees a little bit of light, but it's probably still too late. We will see though in week 6. It should be an action fucking packed motherfucking week. I will see you all on another day. Come back week 6. You know I got all the fucking fresh beats. Fuck life. Actually, we love it. Now we've won a game. We love life, but we will probably hate it next week. You all are still scum buckets, excuse me. And fuck ass shit cock. I got Tourette's. I'm the fuck out of here.
Peace.